And we're back talking with Doyle, with State Representative Doyle Heffley. As always, we're joined by the indomitable Hunter Kipe and the disembodied voice of producer Chuck on the ones and twos. What are we talking about today, Representative Heffley?
Well, today we're just going to follow up a little bit on some of the discussions that have been going on nationally and how they impact the state. And it was brought to my attention by one of my local homeless providers. And homelessness, it impacts every community. There's always that segment of society which struggles with this. A lot of it is sometimes it's addiction or behavioral health issues. We want to make sure we're getting the resources to those folks to get them the help that they need and get them off the streets. So it was brought to my attention that there was a letter that was sent out, and the letter was sent out from the National Homeless Law Center, which is a very progressive organization, and it was sent out through the Eastern Pennsylvania COC, Continuum of Care. And the letter more or less spells out to homeless shelters what they should do in the event that ICE would come to a homeless shelter to apprehend criminal illegal aliens. And
does it actually detail that they're going to take criminal illegal immigrants, or do they just say we're going to take illegal immigrants?
Yeah. So I think it is as of right now, the federal orders have been that ICE would apprehend criminal illegal immigrants, which these are individuals that have committed crimes in the United States.
Yes,
right? These are, it's not just a crime of being here illegally, which is different, but
which is also a crime.
Yeah, they came here illegally. They were dealing drugs, maybe human trafficking, maybe violent crimes, and any and all of the above. And those are the folks that ICE is really out to apprehend right now and deport, and rightly so, to keep our streets safe. So this organization, this National Homeless Law Center, sends out this directive as to what to do to how to prevent ICE from actually fulfilling their mission and doing their federal law enforcement duties. In a day when we see just a lot of concern for law enforcement, there's a lot of disrespect for law enforcement. Here you have federal law enforcement agencies that are out there trying to keep our streets safer.
Yeah.
And this organization is out there putting out information. A lot of it's misinformation, trying to thwart the efforts of our federal government. So what I really find appalling about this, and it gets worse, is the fact that the Eastern Continuum of Care for Pennsylvania received federal emergency solutions grant dollars. Millions of dollars to the ESG grants, right? Emergency solution grants. And they don't have like a brick and mortar facility. They just have we can't even find an address because we wanted to question them on it.
Yeah.
But they received millions of federal dollars directed by the Department of Community and Economic Development, DCED, here in the Commonwealth, which gave this grant to this organization to help homeless people, right? And we have the issue in Carbon County. There's an issue in Philadelphia. Every single county. And there's a lot of people that struggle, people that maybe lose their job, and not just people that are on substance use or mental health, but you have families that for maybe as a medical condition or anything struggle with homelessness. So it's not just homeless shelters, but this money also goes to organizations like Family Promise, which operates in many communities where they actually help people temporary housing to get them back on their feet. And that's what these dollars were directed, taxpayer funding was to go to. And this organization was given money by DCED with, I don't know that there's any oversight, so we still are waiting for answers back from DCED. But now these federal dollars go to help homelessness are now being used to spread this propaganda for homeless shelters to block ICE from doing their job. And I got to say, if there's an illegal immigrant in a homeless shelter, they're taking a homeless bed away from somebody who's a citizen who's homeless. And I just really find it upsetting. As the chairman of the Human Service Committee here for the Republican caucus, I see the needs of people every day. We have organizations come in, people that have intellectual disabilities, people that need help to get out of bed, people that need help to go to the bathroom in their home so they can stay in their home. And these federal and state dollars go to provide those services. It's appalling that we are going to take federal dollars and redirect them to some ideologue group like the Eastern Pennsylvania Continuum of Care, who is then going to partner with a far left progressive group, which also got federal dollars from the Biden administration, the Homeless Law Center, which is not a law center, and they don't care about homeless people. What they really care about is spreading this propaganda and blocking federal enforcement agents from doing their job to ensure that our streets are safe and that criminal illegal aliens are not in homeless shelters
Yeah.
in this Commonwealth.
It's fear-mongering because even according to news outlets, there's violent incidents at ICE offices in Washington, D.C., Tacoma, Washington, Aurora, Colorado, San Antonio, Texas. They've all been attributed to this political rhetoric and misinformation about ICE detention policies, but yet, the ICE officers, they're also in danger now, but it's also putting the fear in people, especially our most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. So we don't have a Doge at the state level, but definitely we're going to be reaching out to the Secretary of HUD, the incoming secretary, and so they can look into this to make sure that in the future these dollars are not given, and these dollars that were given under the previous administration in Washington D.C. So let's clarify that.
Yeah.
But I do want to question DCED on why they had given this money. Is there a way that this money should be given back? Right, because it was not used for the intended purposes.
Yeah.
And then I also would like to see there be some audits of this continuum of care. What do they do with all these dollars? Do they get private and state and federal dollars? They don't even have an address to mail a letter to question them about it. Who's the director of this organization? This is exactly what's happening at the federal level. But we need to make sure that these resources are going to the intended use, because there are people in need in our communities that these dollars can help.